Welcome from Seattle. My name's Via Williams, and if I haven't met you, I'm the Director of Growth for the Kinney companies. We have 8 incredible Keller Williams brokerages that we have here in Western Washington, and we've got mortgage title escrow, and I've got a team and all sorts of things going on, and we have Michael Perna today. How excited are we to have you here today, Michael? Thank you for joining us.
You betcha. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, you're always...
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I feel like there's a lot of pressure right now. I got a couple of nice people in the comments saying hey and everything, and that's awesome. And I have no idea what we're talking about. I know you sent the questions ahead of time. I totally didn't look. I pulled them up at 2:56. It's going to be great.
Okay, so for the record, just for everyone to know, I did send him the questions in advance, which is good. Mike Perna, here's the good news for you. Here's the good news. You don't need to have any prep. I'm gonna lead you right down the garden path, and we're gonna glean all your information out of you. But first, couple things. So for all of you who are new joining us today, these are our Wednesday webinars, and the Kinney companies, we do these every single Wednesday at noon Pacific time for about an hour. Today's is going to be 45 minutes, and they are really for you. They are for you, the agent. These are tactical, practical, very in the weeds of production, and exactly like the goal is that you walk away from every single one of these with at least one thing you can do right away to get into production quickly. So these are not necessarily, high pie in the sky, high level mindset things, which I love. I love those. These are like about production. These are very specific topics. So next week, we've got the incredible Katie Lance coming on. Katie is a national author, speaker, teacher on social media. And she literally wrote the book on how to do social media in uncertain times. So we have got her for a full hour next week. I want you to come with your questions, come with your notepad. You're going to want to take a ton of notes. And as always, we live cast it on the Pivot Shift Ahead page. If you want to watch replays, we put all the replays on our Kinney Company's Leadership Mentoring Group Facebook group. It is free for you to it's easy, we'll preview right away. We've got Sue Adler from last week walking through exactly what they're doing to get listings. 60 plus something listings so far this year with $1.1 million price point. We have Sarita Dua the week before on exactly what she does with buyers right now to win in multiple offers, and you don't want to miss it. The Sarita and the Sue one are full of scripts. We did some role plays together, and we walked through really specific steps. Lastly, I want to do a little plug. My business partner, Ben Kinney, has this phenomenal podcast. Have you guys heard it? Win, Make, Give. Is anyone here a listener? Gosh, his recent episode, first of all, he uploads 50 episodes a week. Like I have a podcast too. It's called Empire Building, which I would love all of you guys to listen to. And we upload one a week. Ben uploads like 50 a week. I swear to God, the guy dumps more content. He has more content in his brain than anyone I know. So his last episode is What 2 Things Fuel a Business. I thought it was really, really good. Just listened to it last night on my deck in the sun. So it was a really nice way to kind of wind my day down. So with that said, it is all about you, my friend. Michael Perna, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? I can introduce you. But I want you to kind of walk us through actually what your business looks like. So in the form of a formal introduction, for those of you who don't know Michael Perna, he owns one of the most successful teams in the nation based in Detroit, Michigan. He owns brokerages, he owns title. Do you own mortgage too? Mm-hmm. Mortgage?
Yeah, I'll do a mortgage.
Yep. And just probably one of the best teachers I know. I feel that way because if you're a Wednesday webinar regular, I have Michael Perna back almost more than anybody. I'm a huge fan. Awesome. I fangirl him all the time. I just think he's amazing, and he's just someone I like to hang out with. Michael Perna, I think you're great. There you go.
And likewise, and thank you, Via. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait until we can actually see each other again.
I know.
Like outside of the COVIDs and all the things, because this is rather depressing that there's
darn Rona. I know it.
Do all the things, and yeah.
All the things. So what I'd love you to do to start with, Michael, is kind of walk us through what your business has been looking like this year, because I think part of your story is how strict your quarantine was. You were not essential. You in California, you were not essential. You were really, truly locked down. And I'd love to just hear a little bit about what you did during that time, leading us into this incredible run you're having now.
Definitely. And thank you. I appreciate that. And we were not essential. And at the time I was masterminding with people like yourself, like Nick Waldner over in Maryland, to try to figure out kind of where to go and what to do. And one thing I'll say is we're blessed to be in these groups like Pivot Shift Ahead and whatnot, the Ben Kinney leadership team, because it takes a village to get through this. So we started with immediately going from a once a week office meeting to a daily Zoom, which we've continued. We still do them every single day, 20, 25 minutes, doing a power up with our guys. We actually do the 3Gs, which I learned through one of the Wednesday webinars.
Brady Sandel, right?
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Which we still do, which is still amazing. We did it this morning, in fact. And we started out small because our guys, we're not the big powerhouse, make the 500 dials a day guys, right? We're a lot of sphere of influence. We have the ISAs in the back end. So we've been hovering in that 10 to 15 dial per day range for our agents going into the whole COVID and the lockdown. Once we went into lockdown, and I saw this with a lot of the realtors in my market where they just kind of, I hate to say it, but they threw their yoga pants on and kind of gave up for a minute. And that was it. And we decided to go the other way with it and start with the very basics, and that's focusing on dial count. So we raised our dial count from 10 to 15 a day to 20 a day to 30 a day to 40 a day to 50 a day. And then once we got to that dial count, we maintained that for about a week or so, because for us that was a big stretch. And we were calling everybody. We were calling, old leads, sphere of influence, expireds, FSBOs, previous appointments that we had gone on 6 or 12 months ago, all of it. After that, we started going to appointments set, and then from appointments set to appointments held. And those were all done by Zoom, 100% by Zoom, FaceTime, or Google Meet. And then we went to contracts. So the goal was to sign 80 contracts a week of some sort. I don't care what it looked like. If it was a buyer
agreements or contracts?
Buyer agency agreements or listing contracts.
So okay, perfect.
Yeah, agreements. Yeah. Now, whether or not they were going to go on the market immediately, or they were going to look immediately, or they were going to look as soon as we became essential again, at that point, I didn't really care. I just wanted those agreements so that if somebody wanted to wait until we came up on May 7th as essential, wanted to wait until then to get out and physically look, that's great. We had a banked client for that time. If it was somebody that wanted us to do 3D tours and 3D imaging on properties, that's great. We had that client sign a buyer agency contract. Same thing on the listing side. If it was somebody that wanted to wait until then, but beat the other sellers to market, and that was one of our big shticks, because it was true and exactly as predicted. There was about a 2-week period from May 7th to about May 21st in our market where the sellers just kind of held for a minute to see what was going to happen. Yeah. And our sellers were getting on the market 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th and beating the other sellers to market. And buyers, they went to market like within hours. Within hours, we saw our showing requests just go through the roof as they realized they can go see homes again. Right.
And Michael, that's the case across the country, right? The reason most markets are solo inventory is a seller reluctance. Most markets, in fact, I don't know an exception, have a high buyer demand right now, just like you're describing.
Absolutely. And the sellers still haven't come to market in Metro Detroit and many, many markets across the nation like they normally would. But we had a very large delay here because of our extreme shelter in place. Sellers were just afraid. They were afraid to even come on the market. So our inventory levels remained astronomically low compared to some of the other areas of the country all the way through the end of May. So that gave our sellers a little bit of a competitive advantage. All the people that we have been signing in April and preparing for market. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and what I'm hearing is, and I think what I want all of our viewers to hear is that this didn't happen overnight. You were sowing the seeds, right? You were doing the work ahead of time. And so where you are now is really a result of what you were doing 90 days ago,
Yeah,
right?
that's exactly right. That's
Because
exactly.
I had you on, Michael. I had you on 90 to 100 days ago, and you told everybody exactly what you were doing. And I specifically remember you saying, look, we're not getting a ton of results right now. I don't want to get on here and pretend that, but you are sowing the seeds. I'm so proud of you. I really am. I'm so proud of your leadership and your agents. Every single one of your agents, I hope they're watching. I'm proud of you guys for doing the work and not seeing results, because now look at the results that are happening. Really good job. Really good leadership.
Well, and thank you. And I wish I could take the credit for it. It was my leaders that really jumped in and got behind it and just pushed. And then my agents right there saying, okay, buckle up. We're going to do this. We are committed to this. We're committed to our families. We're committed to, I know we can't see the pendings today, but we're committed to doing the activities. So the minute we're out of this, essentially all hell's going to break loose. And that's what happened. So we're at just over 120 pendings at the moment. It's the highest we've ever been.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really
great. I found that out
great.
yesterday when I was looking at the reports. I was like, are you kidding me?
Because I kept asking you your numbers. I know,
right?
The reports.
I know. But we hover like around the 60, 80 pending range. And I'm like, okay, we're at like 123 or something like that. What is going on here? Yeah.
That's incredible. So are you going to hit your goal for 2020 that you came up with pre-COVID?
Oh, absolutely. We're going to be about 75 units, more than likely.
That's fantastic. So I'm curious, in your market, Michael, how far in advance can you ratify a listing agreement?
That's a great question. Okay, so in my market, we can sign the listing agreement, and as long as we have a letter or an email from the seller saying we don't want to go on the market until this date, we're good. We just can't do any sort of coming soon activities. Just like many markets, right?
Super similar to ours. The reason I asked you that is we had someone ask, and I wanted to just be sure we acknowledged it. So, all right, let's dive in. Okay, let's talk about what are your top 3 sources for the last 60 days in listings.
Absolutely, expired, for sale by owners, and then frankly buyers that have listings that need to sell. That was actually a very surprising source when I was digging into that in preparation for the call. And I'm over in Metro Detroit area, so just outside of Detroit proper, including Ann Arbor. I saw that question pop up. Keep on with the questions, guys. I love the questions.
Yeah. I should have said this. If you're watching right now on Pivot Shift Ahead, if you're watching live and you want to participate, Hattie, I don't know if she can drop the Zoom link. You can just quickly hop over to Zoom. We can't see you. So if you're asking questions on Facebook, we can't see those, but we're really responsive to our Zoom questions. So sorry, go ahead. So expireds, FSBOs, and buyers. Interesting, buyers is.
Yeah. Buyers has been an absolute godsend for us as far as listings go. And a lot of that also goes to, we started focusing on our upper priced buyers because what we found was all of a sudden we had more people in our queue and more people that we were nurturing than we've ever had before. So we started focusing kind of top down price range wise. And that really, really brought up a lot of the listings, a lot of the move up buyers, right? Yeah. And even to this day, I mean, we're still putting those properties on the market. Subsequently, our average sales price has also gone up quite substantially. In Metro Detroit, where we're hovering around $225,000 for an average sales price. For us personally, we're about $315,000, which is awesome. Okay. Yeah, that just went up $75,000 in 90 days.
Well, yeah. Isn't that interesting? It's it's what happens with no inventory, right? That's what happens. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. So let's start on expireds, Michael. We're gonna drill down on each one because I know everybody's starting to ask, and you and I both came prepared. We knew everybody was going to ask what your scripts were and what your approaches were, so we're ready for that. So let's start out with expireds. Are these new expireds? Do you even have expireds in your hot market, or are these older expireds that you kind of turned into nurtures?
Both. We went after both hard. Okay. And the script was actually super, super simple. And it was a little bit of a change. Hey, VHA, it's Mike Perna with Keller Williams. How are you today?
Good.
Excellent. Hey, I noticed that your home was taken off the multiple listing service. Did that sell or is that still available?
No, it's still available. I'd sell
Okay.
it.
You know, and to be upfront with you, I did not see a 3D tour on your listing. Did you have one done?
No, no.
All right. Do you feel in this COVID market that we're in that would be an important tool with which to sell the home?
Yeah, I've actually been looking at them myself when I've been looking for homes.
I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. Also, I see that you had around 20 photos of your property. Nowadays, buyers are expecting a little bit closer to 50. Do you think having more photos so the buyer could see your home before ever getting out there and looking at it physically would have helped?
Yeah, because when I see a home I'm interested in, I find myself looking through all the photos, I will admit. Yeah.
Absolutely. Where were you going to move with the home or had the home sold?
Over to the State Street area. We just like that neighborhood.
Very cool. Very cool. No, and it's a great neighborhood. And I love the mature trees and everything. If you had the opportunity to move there, would you still move there?
Yeah, I would. And that's why we haven't gone back on the market, because we're just worried about buying, actually. We're not so much worried about listing. I'm pretty sure we'll sell. We're just worried about finding a home to buy, and we have to sell this to buy.
And that makes perfect sense. I'll tell you what, how about I'm going to be in your neighborhood tomorrow about 5 o'clock showing homes. Why don't I pop by just after that for 15 minutes at 6? We can go over my marketing plan. If it's a great fit, then we can prepare for the market, not necessarily go on the market, but prepare for the market, because it does take a couple of days to do the 3D imaging and the Matterports and the photos and the this and the rickamarackama. In the meantime, I'll start preparing a family letter for you. I'll get some more information when I see you tomorrow, a family letter, because I found it extremely effective for my other buyers to actually mail a letter letting them know that I have a buyer looking in the area. That way we might be able to find you something that's off market where you don't have to compete against another buyer. Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like my house isn't very clean. So tomorrow at 6, okay, you think it'll be 15, 20 minutes? All right.
It is just me. Don't even worry about it.
Are you going to wear a mask?
Either. Yes, ma'am. I will.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. That'll work. Okay.
All right.
I have one more question for you in role play. And I have one more question for you. What's a family letter? When you said that, I like to be private, and I just kind of want to learn a little bit more about what a family letter is.
No, and that makes perfect sense. And there's no names attached, nothing, no identifying information. It will be just a very simple letter. Hey, I've got this great family, couple of kids, whatever your situation is. But again, no identifying, nothing that anybody could identify you with, that's looking for a home just like yours in your neighborhood. Okay. If you had considered selling anytime between now and the end of the year, please call me first.
Okay. That's it. And that's working to get houses.
It is. It's working at a high level. So we're doing that, and we're calling through the neighborhood physically to see if we can find somebody that wants to sell as well.
Okay. I'm super interested. Okay. I look forward to seeing you at 6 tomorrow. Thank you.
Excellent. I'll see you then. Thank you.
That's a great script. Super simple, right? You did the classic, if you were going to move, where would you move to? Right? Which is, I think, the universal real estate script, right?
Pretty much. Yeah. That's the
top 3.
It still works. It works.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Move people past not selling the home into where they would have gone.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. All right. So so you're calling those. How are you getting the expireds? Are you using Vulcan or are you using RedX, one of those services?
Yes, we're using Vulcan 7, which is extremely effective in our market. RedX I know is effective in other markets. It's just not wonderful in ours.
Yeah, I've always liked Vulcan as well. So whatever, a lot of people have been asking, there's a lot of sources. You usually have to get a third party source to get the phone numbers, I find. And I do find Vulcan has the best numbers, but okay. So you reach out by phone. Do you do any type of follow-up, Michael, beyond phone? Do you get their email addresses? If they kind of blow you off, but they're a little receptive, do you have an email campaign you do, or any other follow-up?
Honestly, no, not at this point. As far as an email campaign goes, we do have an expired letter that we send out, which is a very, very basic evidence of success. It is 13 pages.
Wow.
Yeah. So maybe not as basic as I might have mentioned, but it is 13 pages. So essentially what I did was I looked at all my competitors and saw that some of them were up to 6 pages. So I just doubled the page count, added a page for good measure, and that's what I send out.
And it has proof of performance. Is that why it's so long? Just all the houses you've sold in the area?
Yep. And that's it. It's everything sold. I've got, testimonials in it. I've got pictures with the humans in it. I've got all of it, holding the sold signs in front of the house with the agents on my team, all of it.
And how many responses do you get from that? How many appointments do you get from that?
Right now we're getting 6 or 7 appointments a month. It's a little bit lower than normal.
Okay.
Usually we're a little closer to 8, 9, definitely worthwhile. For the low number of expires, that's pretty good. Back in the previous market when I developed it, I was getting more like 15 or 18 appointments a month. And that's like the previous down market back in 8, 9, 10.
That's great. How many-ish would you say you're sending out a month to get that 6 appointments a week? So 24 a month. How many?
It's about 400.
Oh, that's pretty good. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not like the smartest tool in the shed, but 24 out of 400 is a pretty decent percentage.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Okay, that's great. All right, good. Cool. Okay, let's move to FSBOs. So do you have an approach you use? What's your approach to FSBOs? What's the first step in? Do you just go preview the FSBO, or do you try to go right in for a listing appointment?
None of the above. But that's a great question. I've got a couple of very hard closers in my market. People you guys probably all know. And I'm not the hard closer, so I kind of go the other way with it. Okay. So the FSBO script, and I kind of self-developed it. Hey, is this Viha?
Yeah.
Hey, it's Mike Perna with Keller Williams. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you. I'm good. Hey, I'll tell you what. I have a couple of questions about your home, but before we get started, know this. I'm not calling you to try to get you to list with me. I'm not going to bait and switch you, tell you I have a buyer, come over to your house, do any of those things, and then try to get you to sign an agreement. I'm also not going to sit here and argue on the phone with you that you can't sell your home on your own, because frankly, you probably can in this market. Is that fair?
Yeah. I mean, because a lot of agents you're right. They're coming and saying they have a buyer, and then they don't show up, or they certainly don't show up with a buyer.
Yeah. And I know if it hasn't happened yet, it's going to happen. There will be agents that will call you up and tell you that you can't get the job done, when the reality is homes are selling for sale by owner. Okay. So you've got a high likelihood of getting that home sold on your own. What I will say is myself and my team, and you can always, leverage your real estate office at this one, right? Myself and my team, we work with 25 to 35 buyers per month. So there is a high likelihood that I will have a buyer that'll match your home. So I want to make sure that I've got all the facts of your home from wherever I got it from, Zillow, Craigslist, whatever that looks like, correct. You have this many bedrooms, this many bathrooms, this much square footage. The basement is finished. It's not a walkout. It is a 3-car garage. Whatever that looks like. Is that, I don't know. Yeah. And then they say yes, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I usually screw up on one piece of information because it kind of validates the phone call. So I usually go maybe off on price 10,000.
Oh, on purpose.
On purpose. Or
no. Okay. You said the price wrong. The price is actually 410, not 400.
Oh, perfect. That makes the whole call worthwhile. I'm so glad that I called, because I wouldn't want to put out a price that's too low to one of my buyers based on incorrect information on the internet. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you, do you have flyers for your home?
Yeah, my teenage daughter made some flyers for us.
Excellent. Have you had a chance to print those yet?
Yeah, we printed them on our home printer here. Yeah.
Okay. Is it like a high powered machine, or is it more just a desk jet?
No, it's like a little desktop, color printer.
Okay.
Well, it's smearing in the rain.
I'm showing homes over in Green Valley later on tomorrow. I've got a $30,000 printer sitting in my office. I'll tell you what. Why don't you email me a copy of that as a PDF? I'd be more than happy to print out 50 of them on the amazing photo printer and just drop them off in your door.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Also, do you have a copy of seller's disclosures and lead-based paint?
I think when an agent from Keller Williams actually dropped those off, but I haven't really looked through everything.
That makes sense. I'll throw another couple of copies of those in there. And if you'd like to, I'd be more than happy to spend a little time on the phone or on Zoom or on FaceTime and walk you through that to make sure that you get those filled out correctly, right?
So is that required? Do I have to fill those out if I'm selling it myself?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Great question. In the state of Michigan, you've got to fill out the seller's disclosure, and federally, you've got to fill out the lead-based paint.
Okay.
or at least the acknowledgement that your home was built on or after 1978.
Interesting.
So that
Okay.
is true. And then also, do you have a couple of blank, not just one, but a couple of blank purchase agreements? Should you be showing a home to a buyer and they love it and they want to make an offer right at that moment?
No.
Okay, I'm going to get you a couple of board purchase agreements.
Okay.
In all honesty, I cannot give you the Keller Williams ones because those are copyrighted. We spent a lot of money on a lot of attorneys to get those done right.
Okay.
But the board ones, I will throw a couple in there. It is important that you have those ready, because if you're showing a home to a buyer and their emotions are very high at that moment, you do want them to sign that offer at that moment. You do not want them to wait, go home, sleep on it, because what's going to happen tomorrow?
Oh, they might, I guess you're right. They might change their mind.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they want to go see more homes. Right?
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
In addition to that, I'm going to put in a couple of cards as a contact for my loan officer. I'll let them know that also that we spoke. So again, same thing. If you've got the buyer in your home and they haven't been pre-approved yet, you can call Brent. You can get on the phone with him right away. He'll get the pre-approval done in about 10 minutes. So you know before you sign the offer that you've got a solid buyer.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Excellent. In the meantime, should I have a buyer in my database where your home matches, I'll be sure to reach out to you directly and see if I can get those guys in there as well. Okay?
Okay. That'd be great. Of course.
Excellent. Put all the things in a folder, drop it off at the house, follow up with them. Hey, do you just want to?
So you don't preview the house. You don't necessarily go in? Oh.
Oh, no need.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah.
Hey, just wanted to be sure that you got those couple of things I dropped off, the flyers, the seller's disclosure, lead-based paint, offers, and see if you had any questions on any of it, because that's a lot of paperwork right there.
Yeah, I do. I did have a couple of questions. My husband and I started filling out this disclosure form, and there's 2 or 3 things I was going to ask you, if that's okay.
Please do. I'm here. And should you have any questions at all, again, this is my cell phone. Feel free to lock it in your phone.
Okay.
Text or call me anytime with any questions.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Let's go over those questions.
Question 1, question 2.
Go over the question. Yep. Eventually, they always ask the question, why are you doing this?
So why are you doing this?
You know, that's a great question. And there are actually 4 reasons why I'm doing this. At some point in time, you may decide, you know what? I don't want to be in the business of selling real estate. I want to get back to my life. I want somebody else to take over listing and selling my home. Mm-hmm. At that point, I want to be the person that you call. I want to be the only person in your mind where you're thinking, man, I wish I knew a great realtor. Wait, I'm going to call Mike because he had given us amazing service before we were ever a client.
Yeah. Okay.
At some point in time, and this is what will likely happen, you'll probably sell the home. At that point, where you got to go? Somewhere else. Yeah. So you're going to have to turn around and find a home and buy one very quickly, knowing that 94% of all homes are listed on the MLS and you need an agent to get in. Again, same thing. I want to be the first name that pops into your head.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's fair.
Third one, you might move somewhere out of state. And I have a lot of contacts across the U.S. of great real estate agents, not good ones, great ones. And I'd be more than happy to pass your name along or pass you a name of somebody that's just wonderful, that's going to take care of you as if you were family.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then last but not least, at some point in time, somebody's going to ask you, hey, you just moved. Who'd you use as a real estate agent? And before you may say, oh, no one, I sold on my own. But I'd love for you to say, you know what? I sold it on my own, but this guy over here was amazing. So if you're thinking about a realtor, I'd call him.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
How's your flyer count? Do you need disclosures? Can I help in any other way?
No, I think the flyers are good. And we answered the disclosure question. So I think we're going to keep this up for a while, but there might be a time, it's a really big thing is if we found somewhere to purchase, then I think we would be more excited about selling, but we just don't know. It's like a chicken or the egg thing, right? We don't want to purchase till we can sell,
Well, and I'll tell you, right now, our market time average is around 6 days on market for our homes. So getting the home sold, I'm not as concerned about. But you're right. Finding the next one could be a little bit of a concern. I'll tell you what. Why don't I get Brent on the line or Tony on the line, one of the guys from the mortgage company. Let's see if you do need to sell.
Okay.
before you buy.
That actually didn't occur to me. So I'm getting a ton of comments on Zoom. If any of you guys are registered on this webinar, we are happy to,
there are a ton of comments.
We're happy to type up these scripts for you, no problem at all. But you have to be registered on the webinar. So if you're watching this on Facebook and you want the scripts, get on the comments on Facebook, register for the webinar so that we have your email, and then just give us a few days. We're busy around here, but we'll type them up for you, no problem. And the replay this will stay on the bold shift, pivot, shift. No, shivot. I always say shivot.
Shit.
Nope.
Pivot, shift.
Not that one.
Oh, not that one. Yeah.
No. So what we need to do is, what I know for a fact is I do house these on our Ben Kinney leadership mentoring group. So they're for sure on that. So, okay. So, basically you keep following up with them is what
and that's it. I just call them every couple of days or a week, and for me, it's coming from value, service. That's it. Yeah. That's what I want to instill out there, right? And especially what I found is the higher the price range, A, the slower the property is to sell, at least in my market. And then B, the more those guys, that's all they want. Like they want to be able to trust somebody. And then once the trust is there, because a lot of them are high Ds, once the trust is there, then they don't even care. They don't even they don't even ask questions anymore. They just have high trust. Yeah. I did see one question in there that I thought was very interesting. Is it illegal to advise clients? Yes. So if they're not your client, you should not be actually advising them, but answering questions about a form or about something is okay. Yeah, and in Michigan it is. Yeah.
And in Washington State, Donna, this is just my broker hat on. General advice is okay. Once you start getting into transactions, that's a little bit different. Michael, what's interesting? You and I did not talk about this. I didn't even know what your 3 sources were. We only discussed that we'd dive into them. On the VIA group, when I had a big active team, FSBOs were a really big part of our business. And we started doing the data, and we learned that it was about a 6 or 8 week point where we call it the pain point. And what was interesting is, we might call them on week 6. Like we didn't assume it was going to be 6 to 8 week cultivation through us. So I had 3 I can recall that I pretty much converted on the spot. Very rare, very, very rare. Yeah. For the most part, it was follow-up. And I remember my aha after about 6 months doing FSBOs. I'd never done them before. This was in probably 2016, 17 market was really red hot, which is when FSBOs pop up just like now. And I remember my aha is that FSBOs were always grouped with expireds and trainings, right? When you go to all these trainings, and they are so different. FSBOs are a lot softer. We are very similar to you. It's amazing actually how similar our scripts are. Ours are slightly different. Happy to include ours too. We did go preview the homes, but almost identical script to you. We don't have a specific buyer, and we would look in our CRM in Brivity or Boomtown, and we'd say, we have 47 people actively looking in your neighborhood right now in your price range. So what we want to do is go preview your house so that we can now call all 47 this week and let them know, because they're not going to see it on the MLS. So that was our script. If anyone's interested, super similar approach. And it's interesting that we didn't compare notes, so it works in Detroit and it works in Seattle, I guess. All right. Buyers, I'm very curious. Look at you, what are you drinking there, my friend? Is that
I got the question. I got the coffee question. Like, how many cups of coffee are you having right now?
Is that cold brew? What are you drinking?
Oh, it's cold brew, and it's so good.
You're an insane. Right, I'm a huge coffee nut. You're drinking cold brew at 3:30 p.m. You're an animal. You're an animal.
I love that. Thank you.
I love that. That's a big compliment for me. Yeah. If anyone follows me on Instagram, which you should, a lot of coffee stuff going on Instagram. I love my coffee. Yeah, Dana, I'm with you. Dana's like, hey, you need to watch your cold brew at 3:30 p.m. I'd be up all night. I couldn't do it. I'm totally with you. Mike Blood asked, do you ask the FSBO if they're willing to pay a co-broke if you bring them a buyer?
Yes, and that's a great question.
We do too. We did too.
So yeah, and 2 people that I will not work with are people that are not willing to pay co-brokes. And sometimes it's not as direct of a question, right? So
Right.
are you willing to co-broke and pay a 3% commission if I bring a buyer, or whatever the commission rate that you want to charge,
Right.
right? No. Okay, great. Well, if I got you the right price, essentially, if we built it into the price,
Right.
Whatever your bottom line is, add 3% to the top. Would you work with me then?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's a different phrasing of the same question, but sometimes you got to get.
What we used to ask, very similar, is would you work with a buyer's agent? Right? Because the term, remember something, guys, the term co-broke or selling agent, those are industry terms. So you have to talk in layman's terms when you're talking to people. So we don't always say, it depends on your state. We actually in Washington, a buyer's agent's called a selling agent. It's weird. And then the listing. Yeah. So, you have to use their language. And so we would say, hey, are you willing to work with a buyer's agent? That was good enough for us because we knew that most of the time we could have that conversation about building in the percentage that we wanted over the list price, like builders do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then the second thing, and this is going to sound like a weird one. I really try to stay away from this. Okay, this is going to sound so horrible. Single guys.
Oh, this is getting good. Why is that?
Married couples are amazing because a lot of times married couples, one of them, they're just kind of getting dragged along into the for sale by owner thing. Doesn't matter which one, but one of them are, right? So it's like, okay, we'll do the for sale by owner thing, but only for this long.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go hire somebody. For some reason, especially the younger the guy, and I'm this way as well, some agent somewhere is going to call them up and irritate them and just tell them they can't get the job done. And they have to hire somebody. At that point, that person will be determined to leave the sign in their yard for the next 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Be like, I will show that agent.
And they're usually in the tech field. Did I just say that out loud? Whoops.
Yeah.
The young tech guy who becomes an armchair expert. Yeah, I know.
Different than a nerd. Nerds are cool.
Fun.
Nerds are amazing.
Super fun. Good times. That's awesome. We're going to get hate mail from that. How many emails? I'm going to count how many emails. 7. I'm going to get 7 emails about that one. I'm just guessing. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. All right. The third source is buyers. And what I'm fascinated, and I have a feeling everyone viewing this is fascinated on, is how are you getting the buyers, right? How are you everybody wants to know how to procure the business right now.
Right. And we are doing a ton of Facebook advertising, and we're using a couple of different systems to do it. We are using Command for Facebook leads because frankly, it works and they're inexpensive.
It's great. It's awesome.
Good. The upside is it is inexpensive. The downside is it takes a lot of them to find the now business. So that is a huge follow-up game, right? What we found is they're about $2 a lead. And it's hard to find the quality when you're paying $2 a lead.
I should say for all of you guys that are guests and not affiliated with a Keller Williams brokerage, Command is our in-house tech. So when we say Command, that's our Keller Williams tech. Okay, so you're sifting through a lot of people, and so there's just a lot of contacts I'm hearing, and so it's a lower conversion rate right now. You have to put the time in with the contacts.
And that's the truth. Okay. We're also using Ylopo.
Yep.
Just again, completely candid, just on what we are using.
I know what Ylopo is, but can you explain to everybody here what it does?
Last couple of letters of the word monopoly backwards. So Ylopo does.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. There we go. Ylopo. Which has been very good for us in a couple of different ways. The marketing itself is pretty good. Mm-hmm. They'll handle the Facebooks and the what have yous. I really like some of the seller features where they'll put together the video and get it out on Facebook for the sellers again, and then track all that and create a nice seller report that we send out weekly. That's a great question. I'll get to that question in a second. But most importantly, the thing that we utilize at the highest level there is we dump all of our leads into it.
And then you're answering questions. And so here's what Ylopo does. It retargets people. So if you dump all your leads in there, you know how you look for that red dress and that red dress kind of follows you around wherever you go? Like if you're looking on Nordstrom and all of a sudden it's coming up, right? That's what Ylopo does, correct?
And that's it. It's same thing, same exact thing. So when people go to the site, whether it's Ylopo or any of our sites and sign up as a lead, all of a sudden it will retarget and remarket to them as well as your sphere of influence if you put that into YLocal, which you can upload directly into it, which is so good. What was I going to say about that? Oh, and the seller reports are super good, and it makes it so easy to get the price reductions because in 3 clicks, I can download the PDF to show how many impressions, how many clicks, and how many leads have been generated on their home. Mm-hmm. And then how many we're anticipating having over the next 30 days. So I can have that conversation on a needed price reduction.
Can I just do one thing that I rarely do? I rarely do this, but since you said that, I got to brag on Brivity for a minute. Brivity, the single best thing I've had to get me business on Brivity is the seller reports, and I can't remember what we call them. Oh yeah. But you set sellers up on them, and they are amazing. They're called market reports. Thank you, Brandy. Yeah. They're amazing. All of the agents in our brokerages get them for free. Oh my gosh, it is the single best thing I've done. Everybody opens them. You should put all of your friends that are homeowners on those reports because it's dynamic. So if they click on it 3 days later, it's going to be updated and they're going to see all the actives, all the pendings, all the sales in their neighborhood, and it does the work for you. And can you tell how big of a fan I am? Out of everything I send out, I get the most opens from those.
Oh, and that's the truth. And yeah, to be quite honest, those reports blow anything else I do out of the water as far as that goes. And I put myself on it because it's awesome.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
And I'm a real estate agent, and I actually open them.
Yeah. Which is weird. Yeah.
All right. So you're culling through a whole bunch of Facebook leads and internet leads for buyers, right? And you're kind of following up there on IDX. So they're looking for homes. And then do you have any rules, Michael, that you use as far as, do you have to get back with them? If they've been online in the last 24 hours, for instance, do you have to get back to them or anything like that?
Those are the ones that we call first.
Okay.
Really. So those are the people that the most view and most recent login, and we just go straight down those 2 lists. And right now we're using Firepoint as a CRM, and those again come up right there. I believe Brivity does the same. I'm seeing the screenshot at some point, but those are definitely the ones that you want to.
Oh yeah, you're getting a call from Brivity this week, by the way. So
wait, who?
I'm gonna sick Brivity.
Wait, who's getting a call from Brivity? Me?
You. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. You, Michael Perna. Firepoint. What's Firepoint?
Firepoint. Hey,
that's great. So yeah, we always had certain rules. We had 4 rules that we always used for our internet lead follow-up. Anybody on CRMs, number 1, that if they've been online in the last 24 hours viewing a home, you had to have a contact logged or a contact attempt. It could be a text, it could be a call, whatever. Number 2, they had to have a tag refresh. Nobody could be new after 24 hours, and they have to have some kind of a tag. Number 3, there has to be some kind of a task or a to-do scheduled 100% always, even if it's for a year later, right? And then I can't remember number 4, but we are always really strict about that, like when I would go and audit.
Yep. And then the last two things that we're using right now, especially with these buyer leads, because we're just getting them in mass quantities, like 2,000 to 2,200 a month are coming in, which is good. Is we're using the YLocal AI texter, which is amazing, by the way. It literally has better conversations than I have.
Really? I've wondered how those work. Okay.
Oh my God, it's so good.
So it's like a bot. So it's like an AI.
I literally was watching one and it stopped. Like the lady said, "Hey, I'm getting a VA loan," and literally the bot said, "Oh, were you in the armed services?" And then she said, "No, my husband was," and it stopped the conversation and said, "Before we go further, thank your husband on the Perna team's behalf for his service."
I just got chills. That's like something I would say. I would literally say that. Like I can't even go on without saying that. Wow.
That's the truth. It had a whole conversation with a couple that was getting married and buying a home in West Bloomfield, Michigan for $400,000. I'm like, oh my God, this is better than I can do, And it had the appropriate number of pauses, as if it was like a real text conversation and not just back.
Oh, Candace is like somewhat creepy. It's a little creepy.
Very creepy. Yeah.
I think we can all agree.
Yeah. Wow. And then the last thing that we're using is Conversion Monster on the buyer leads, because they do an amazing job with getting out there, following up, and weeding through the 2,000.
Are those ISAs, Michael?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yep, they're ISAs. A gentleman named Ro Malik, he's a really cool dude.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, you know Ro, and he does a really nice job with his ISAs as well.
Oh,
And
great.
they
That's
bring
good
us
to know.
back the nurtures, which is good. So they're bringing us back the buyers in there that are going to purchase in 90 days or less, and it has a pretty good LP Mama kind of scripting to it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's great. And if anyone here doesn't know LP Mama, I think it's the Bible of real estate. It's location, price, motivation, agent, mortgage, and appointment, right? So, in about a month, I can't remember quite when, we're doing we're going to do a Superstar ISA Wednesday webinar. Because the thing is, we talk to us, like the leads here, Michael, but these are the guys that are on the phone with like hundreds of conversations every day. So I've asked a couple of my rock star friends that have these teams with these ISA departments. Maybe I'll ask him to send someone on, but I want to actually get scripts from the guys that are on the phone with hundreds of conversations today. So stay tuned for that. Stay on our list for the Wednesday webinar. Michael Perna, it is 12:45 and 3:45 your time, which means it is time to sign off. But
yes, ma'am.
With all of this we talked about, right? Can you give parting words? What do you think every agent watching this right now should do to get business while make hay while the sun is shining over the next 60, 90 days? What is the one thing they should be doing right now?
Okay. And real quick on the Conversion Monster, it is also great for an individual agent because it is very inexpensive and it's worth it to just have them bring back to you the 10 or 15 people you really need to be talking to, not the 500 that you're creating from these Facebook leads out of mass quantity. Honest to God, I think what we should be all going towards right now is video. And especially a video of value, bringing value to the consumer and then bookending that with the phone call. So like come September, partnering with a good heating cooling company for the guys in the north like myself with some sort of a 15 to 25% off coupon, sending that out. And we use Get Viral. Again, full disclosure, Frank's company is fantastic.
Frank Klessik's and Viral Marketing is incredible. And I'm a big fan. We use them. Ben Kinney, we use those for brokerages too.
Oh, so good.
Big fan. Happy to give him a plug.
Yeah, and I know like his plan is more like market reports and stuff like that. I always like the item of value, like a negotiated discount, and then calling and following up on that. Hey, it's Mike Perna, Keller Williams. Hey, I want to be sure you got that email with that 25% off coupon. Yeah, because now you're adding value to the relationship and you're staying in front of them.
Okay, so the did you get script is what we call those in our with my team leaders. We call those the did you get script. Did you get whatever I sent? Yeah, so basically the item of value you think we need to be sending right now is video. We can do it virtually, and then following that up with the did you get script, some variation of that.
That is the number one
Michael, would you come back and join us maybe in September? Can we have a follow-up to this? I have a feeling everybody would love that. You're amazing. Thank you.
Well, and likewise, and thank you for having me. This is so much fun. I love this. Thank you.
Good. Yeah. Good. Well, you're one of our faves, so we appreciate you. And everybody watching, thank you so much, especially our loyal Wednesday webinar viewers. I feel like there's a group of you who've been with us since, the beginning of these. And for all of you new ones, welcome. Every single Wednesday, almost, there's every blue moon, I have to go away, but almost every single Wednesday. And we just do this. It makes us feel great to pour back into our industry. It really does. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a great Wednesday.